Welcome back, everyone. This is Thomas Triple T Tie with another new bullish crypto analysis. Before we dig in, remember, this is for edutainment only and not financial advice. Additionally, when you feel value is added, feel free to smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe, or leave a comment in the comment section in YouTube or on Twitter. Let's dig in and take a look at some news items. First one is today. The FOMC meeting takes place for the first day of its two-day meeting, and tomorrow they'll most likely announce their rate increase. And more than likely, it's going to come out to be around 25 basis point. It's unlikely they're going to come in at 50 basis point. So 25 is probably pricing in the market already, and I'm sure the market is anxiously awaiting for that announcement. In China, COVID is spreading pretty fast. They are at their highest infection rate in the last 2 years. And that's concerning, not only for people's health, but also their economy and the rest of the world's economy, since they're all tied together. China closed down the Dongguan factory center, I think yesterday or starting today. And that's on top of them closing down or having lockdowns in Shanghai, their financial center, and the Shenzhen, which is their quote-unquote Silicon Valley, if you will. And Hong Kong is having a really tough time there too, with infection rates climbing in some cities around there 2 to 3 times its normal rate. Let's see what else. We also why Europe is also facing that too. Europe is facing week over week increase of COVID infection rates at 20 to 50%, and that is concerning. 3 reasons why we're seeing an increase in COVID infection rates is that the BA.2 variant for Omicron is more infectious and is spreading much faster than the original Omicron. The second one is society's opening up, and rightfully so. You know, it's we've been in lockdowns and all kind of mandates for a while, and that's tough. I personally feel challenged by it. And so as society opens up, more people are socializing, getting together, and that can cause infections to spread faster. And the people who had their immunity, whether it be by previous infections or from the vaccination shots, that immunity is wearing off, and they may not be as protected. And those are the 3 reasons why I think COVID is spreading faster again. Something we want to be mindful about, because, back in March 2020, we saw what happened across the world and what happened to the market. So that's something to keep an eye on. Let's see. Macro and geopolitical. Russia and Ukraine, their leaders are continue to communicate, and there is President Zelensky mentioned that there could potentially be some agreement on whether they're going to join NATO or not, and security measures that Russia is asking of them. So potentially there could be some negotiation there, but who knows? So that's pretty much some of the hot topics in the market that could influence the market. So let's dive into the charts. Here we have a crypto market, mostly green. Bitcoin's at 39.1K at the time of the screenshot. Dominance is 42.7, and that's climbing from previous days. Ethereum's at 2.6K roughly. Dominance at 17.81. And Luna is still hanging up there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we got some reds here too. Algo, we got ETC, Doge, Sheep. Mana's down, Sand's down, Axie's down. It looks like some of the NFTs are down. The memes are down. So if you own some quality coins, they look like they're up. The centralized exchanges seem to be up as well. Let's take a look at the equities market. U.S. equities market here looks predominantly green. We got technology in almost all green. Apple up 2.32, Microsoft 2.9, Nvidia up 6.63. Yikes, that's pretty cool. Over here in communication services, we predominantly green. Google 2.88. That's pretty cool. Consumer silica over here, mostly not almost all green. Baba's down 3.77. Amazon is up 3.74. Tesla's up 3.97. So tech sector and high growth tech companies are in the greens here. Consumer defensive, mostly green here. Actually, almost all green here. Financials, kind of muted, but mostly somewhat green. Healthcare, mostly green here. Industrial, muted but green. Energy again is red, and we got some basic materials down here. It's about muted, mostly red. Some greens in the specialty chemicals here. So looking good for crypto and the U.S. equities market. So cool. Let's dive into the charts. This is on TradingView, 30-minute time frame, weeks worth of data across each vertical column. But let's go here and take a look at some information here in the watch list. We got SPX up 1.66. It's at 4,242 right now. Nasdaq is up 2.12, keeps changing at 13,374 roughly. And the Dow is at 3,000. It's so hard to read it when it's changing. 3,329 roughly. And that's up 1.36. VIX volatility index, it's at 31.14. Again, 30 is like the baseline for the top portion, and VIX is for the volatility index for the pretty much the equities market here. So and that's down 2. Let me see here. I can't read it. Too dark. That's down 2.05. The Dixie dollar index is at 99.01, and that's down roughly 0.08. The U.S. 10-year yield is at 2.12. That's pretty high, but that's down negative 0.65 or so. And oil is down below 100. That's fantastic. And that's down day over day of negative 4 point something. Gold is also down. It's at 1,924. That's down negative 1.2. And let's take a look at the dollar strength here. The euro paired with USD, that's up 0.15. So euro stronger. The pound versus the dollar, that's up 0.37, and so the pound is stronger there. The U.S. versus the paired with the yen, and that's up 0.06%. So the dollar is stronger there. So that's a change because in the previous days the dollar was stronger than all three of them. So that gives you a glimpse of what it is. But let's look at the trends and see. Here, Bitcoin in the last 24 hours, you can see at the tail end of that 24-hour period, Bitcoin went up here. It was roughly around 38.5 roughly, and now it's at 39.2K. On the Nasdaq, by the way, I changed some of these. This is the Nasdaq, not the QQQ. They're similar, but I want to connect this with this over here. So You can see that it opened higher than where it closed yesterday and continues to rise here, as we saw on the heat map. The SPX here opened higher and continued to rise, similar to the Nasdaq. And positive correlation with Bitcoin is currently holding. Over here, the Dow also opened higher than where it closed, and it's continued to rise, similar to the other two. The Dixie here, interesting here, is Dixie is also rising since the market opened. And that's typically has a negative correlation with Bitcoin. So they're both rising. So the negative correlation is not holding. Sooner or later, that will change, though. So we'll see which one changes, whether it's the Dixie or Bitcoin. Down here, the U.S. 10-year yield, you can see that it's again we saw it over here, 2.12, and it's kind of trending sideways pretty much in the last 24 hours. But it's still on a weekly trend. It's still higher than the previous 6-7 days. Over here, let's take a look at the European market and stocks. Here you see that it's choppy here in the last 24 hours, but overall it's still on the high end of the 7 days. Same thing with the DAX in Germany. It's recovering here. And same thing with the CAC. It's recovering and it's on the high end of the 7-day. Stock 600 is also same thing, recovering here, went up, and then it's on its high end of the 7-day period. Let's go over to Australia. Australia, it's choppy in its last session here, down from its previous period, but overall it's slightly up on a 7-day, but not too much. Nikkei 225, similar to the Australian market here. It's choppy, but on average is slightly up from a 7-day, unless you go back way further. The Asian markets here, we can see South Korean KOSPI. It's on a downward trend, choppy in this last period, but downward. We got Hong Kong Hang Seng, HSI. You got it's trending down, continue trend down, and it's down in its last session. Same thing with the Shanghai Shenzhen CSI 300 index. That's trending down and down on its recent period. And Hong Kong HSI and the Shanghai Shenzhen is probably big time impacted by its COVID situation, so understandably. And that's pretty much what the market's looking like overall. In summary, I think it's looking pretty good for the U.S. market and crypto market. The dollar index, we'll see what happens with its negative correlation with Bitcoin, because it's not holding right now. European market looks like they have a little bit of recovery. The Asian market, it's down in near China, but the rest is pretty much somewhat sideways, similar to Australia. And dollar, the dollar, it's holding its own, but also losing to the pound and the euro for today. Glad to see oil being down. All right, that's pretty much covers it. I appreciate your time. Feel free to smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video later today. Peace.